Hello, welcome to Stampin' on the Hill. I'm Deb Keyes. Today I have another Wayback Wednesday video for you. And for those of you who haven't been following along, I choose the third Wednesday of the month to do a Wayback Wednesday, which is something that I've brought back from way back. I've been a demonstrator for 20 years, so there are lots of techniques and tips and all kinds of things that we learned a long time ago. And if you haven't already been introduced, I have a 2-volume set of books that have all kinds of different techniques and stuff in them. So I try to go through these or sometimes an old project sheet or something from a long time ago and remake the project or the technique using current product. Today, let me swap down to my hands and we will just get started here. Pull out my page so you can see what we're doing. And to do that, let's try this again. There we go. All right. So today's project is spotlighting, and you probably can't read it, so I'm going to just tell you. This is the way we used to do it, and you used to stamp your image in like black, and then you would stamp it again on another piece of paper and cut it out, and then try to line it back up where it came out of. Well, so I have now found an easier way to do this. So we're going to get started and I'll show you how to make it work now. All right, so we're going to start with our paper supplies. I have, which way is this going to go? It's going to go this way. So 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we're going to put this together and get our bone folder in here. Get it all creased up nice. I have 2 pieces of early espresso cardstock. The larger one is 3.5 by 2 1/4, and the smaller one is 1 1/4 squared. And then I have a white, basic white piece for layering, and that is 3 1/4 by 2 inches. So I'm going to set the colored stuff out of the way for now. We are also using, let's pull in because we're using some Rustic Crate. These are photopolymer stamps, so that's why I wanted to use the piercing mat. You should know that by now already, but in case you don't. And then I'm using Unbounded Love for the greeting and the sentiment on this card. So let's bring in, now I'm going to be coloring, when I get to the coloring portion, I'm going to be coloring with Stampin' Blends. I've got several colors here, the Old Olive, the Daffodil Delight, the Pumpkin Pie, and then I just grabbed one of the crumb cakes for the center. But because I'm using the blends, I want to make sure that my ink that I'm inking up my stamp with is the Memento Black. Because these are alcohol markers, I want to make sure that I'm using the correct ink so that the ink doesn't smear when I try to color. So we're going to stamp this right in the center. I feel like my pad's a little bit crooked, so I'm going to straighten that out a minute. Let's get this like this. All right. Then what I have is a die. This is just a little square die. And the die is from the Stylish Shapes set of dies. What I'm going to do is just pick a spot on here where I want to spotlight. And I think I'm just going to go with this. So I'm going to move this aside. I'll bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And as most of you know already, we're going to use the platform number 1 and the cutting plate number 2. And I'm going to use my very well loved, this would be a number 3. Mine are a little bit older, so I'm, you can't really, there are no numbers on my older ones to double check, but I want to get a little bit of some of all of the things. And then I'm going to add another cutting plate on top, and we're going to slide and run this through. It's just going to cut out the center. And so this is what I have. That aside, okay? So that just came out of the middle. So what I'm going to do is color this, and I'm going to try to hurry. Let's start with the yellow. I'm going to use dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to just sort of go through a couple of I like to outline mine with the dark and add in the shading elements of the dark stuff. And now there's a flower up here too. So I'm going to do that one. I think that's part of the flower as well. And then I'm going to come in with the lighter color, and I'm going to do the shading. And it's probably good. And again, I'm kind of hurrying because I didn't want to spend too much time and make you watch me color all day. So I just want to make sure there's no, I'm also going to use the light to do this ear of corn right here. And then I'm going to come in with the darker old olive, and I'm going to, well, isn't that interesting? Here we go. Oh, well, it popped right out, didn't it? That's a new one for me. I'm going to do the same kind of coloring method on the leaves here, and maybe just one of those strings, and then the lighter old olive. And it's really cool how they make these blends that it does the blending for you. If you just use the 2 colors, and then of course the alcohol plays a big part in coloring here. And it just automatically blends all the colors together for you. I'm going to do the same thing, darker color of pumpkin pie on my pumpkins here. And again, picking out some of these lines that the Stampin' Up! Artists put in there for us. And then again with the light pumpkin pie. And you don't even have to be real careful with this. I'm trying not to smear some of these other colors together, but I do want the shading. So you can kind of see the little bit of shading going on there. If you want, you can always come back with more color. And then I'm just going to use, I grabbed the dark crumb cake on this one, and I'm going to use the bullet tip on this. You notice that when I was marking the lines, I used the bullet tip of the marker, and then when I was coloring, I used the brush tip. And in this one, I'm just going to kind of put some dots. I didn't want to take up all of it's really dark, so I didn't want it to blend in. It looks like I missed a little of this flower, or this flower here. Okay. So I think that's good. So then, because we cut this out, now is where we come in with the rest of our paper, and I had pre-measured what size this square was going to be. So now I can layer this, and then this is going to layer right on top, and then you didn't have to stamp it twice. Pretty slick, huh? Let me show you how that goes. And we're going to put a little bit of glue, maybe. Here we go. A little bit of glue on here, and make that layer and the mat. And then we're going to move this out of the way. I'm going to put the glue on this layer. Maybe. There we go. and get that layered on there. Try and make it straight, even edges all the way around. That's what we're going for. And then this one, you can pop it up. I like to just put it right down on the center. So this is going to go, I'm kind of looking at it to line up where like this should be coming up off the top and where these flowers are. And that leaf finishes going up, finishes going that direction. So that's what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to bring in some early espresso ink. And I'm going to put my greeting on here first a minute. I'm going to just put Hope on the bottom. Make sure I got this in here right. Can you see what I'm doing? Sometimes I forget to look at the camera to make sure that what I'm doing actually is inside the camera, so that you can see it too. And then this, Hope is believing in a brighter tomorrow. And again, the sentiment comes from that unbounded love. I'm just going to put that on the inside. So now that my stamping is done, I'm going to also, this is just some linen thread. I'm going to run this around my little piece of card here a minute, and I'm just going to tie it in a knot. Well, maybe I'm going to tie it in a knot. Oh. I know this looks really awkward, doesn't it? It feels really awkward at the moment too, because I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, and we're going to grab some scissors. These are not my ribbon scissors because I forgot to grab them, but if I am careful, I can get it high enough up. And then I'm just going to sort of wiggle this around so it doesn't look like it's all just one big piece here. And then I'm going to glue it in. I could use dimensionals on this too, but I'm finding that lately, although I love dimensionals, I'm finding lately the post office is having a rough time delivering stuff if it's got different dimensions on it. So just to save a little bit of hassle in the long run, I'm just going to glue it down flat. And there's your card. I also have, let me clean up some mess out of here a minute. I also have, I did this in a little bit different way too. I did one that looks very similar. I did most of the pieces the same. In this particular one, I didn't put anything in the middle or in the inside, but this is crumb cake on the outside. And I actually ran my piece of, this would be 4 by 5 1/4. And I ran it through the timber embossing folder. If you're going to do this, make sure that you stamp it first and then run it, the greeting part, and then run it through the folder, because otherwise your greeting won't stamp very nicely. So let me get back to, I keep hitting the wrong button. Man, it's a good day here in Michigan, isn't it? Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me. A couple of quick announcements. Starting in September, so we're in the 3rd week of August right now. Starting in September, my class times for in-person classes, I'm going to have 2. They're still going to be the 3rd Monday. I have to think about this before I blurt it out. The 3rd Monday of every month, and they're normally from 6 to 8. And I'm also going to offer same day at 3 to 6, no, 3 to 5 option. See, I need to think about these things before they actually come out of my mouth. So 3 to 5 session or a 6 to 8 session, both on the 3rd Monday of the month. And I'd love to see you. I love teaching people how to do some of this stuff. And the a little bit more intricate things that we learn in that particular class. So I'd love for you to join us. I also want to invite you to please come back every Wednesday, because there's a new video every Wednesday. And I'd love it also if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel and give me a thumbs up on Facebook. I'm also very into your comments. So if you'll leave me a comment, I would really appreciate that as well. Until next time, thanks for watching.